Okay, I can.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
How y'all doing this evening?
Great. You?
I am doing fine. It's been a long day, but we are here.
Hi,
Hello.
how are y'all doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Not too loud, am I?
No, you're good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's here, but there's nothing to going on yet. It
Okay,
starts in a few minutes.
inside.
Okay, I hope Hudson quiets down. Miss Gail.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Katie.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is my first meeting.
Welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
How did you hear about us?
A neighbor, Ira Bass.
Wonderful. We love Ira.
He's two doors down the street.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
We'll get started in a few more minutes. Let some more people come on in. Good to see everybody.
It's good to be seen. Carrie, that's my line.
I did it first.
Yeah, tonight you did. However, now you've got to drive down Columbia for the,
No,
Rule.
read it.
Mhm.
we're going to do it Zoom for resolutions.
Hi, Sheila.
Well, I don't know what's happening. They were supposed to have sent any modifications to us this evening. And haven't received any of them.
You know, I haven't seen our stuff yet either. Oops. Okay, trying to have a flag handy. You're gonna have to get a flag, Katie.
Yeah, I need to work on that. And Thor's hammer.
Why don't you do that? Buy
Keith?
a replica of Thor's hammer.
So for context, Keith sent me a list of gavels on Amazon, so I could pick one out, and then I could have a gavel to start in our meetings and not have to ask Keith to do it every time. But in this list of gavels, there was also a little mini replica of Thor's hammer from the comic books.
I didn't see that. Go
So
for
I
it.
thought that was funny.
Go for it. It fits your geek hood, just like my sheet metal, my tin knocker's hammer fits me.
Mhm.
Are we having the golf tournament tomorrow? Meeting?
Next week.
No, the meeting.
Oh, the meeting. I was gonna email you all after this. We can still have the meeting. I won't be able to make it though. Let's see. I know Lee and Ken told me that they are at their godson's graduation tonight. And Susanna's out of town, I believe. So we'll give it another minute or so.
That's something awfully screechy coming from your microphone, Katie.
How does it sound now?
Well, that's better.
All right.
Oh yeah, now we got some people piling in. Hey, Tom,
Mhm.
Effie. I hope the chair does not mind my shameless promotions of my campaign.
I don't mind at all. You're good.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So it's 7:03. I'm sure we'll have a few more people come on in. But yes, Keith, thank you. Go ahead. All right, until I get my Thor's hammer. Okay, we're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we'll have some folks introduce themselves. So let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of
of
America,
America and to the
to the
republic
republic
for which
for
it
which
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
And that's our goal. All right. If anybody would like to introduce yourselves tonight, you can go ahead and unmute and do that. No pressure if you don't want to, but if you'd like to do so, go ahead.
My name's Larry Liebman. I moved to Lancaster County just about 3 years ago. Prior 18 years, I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I did some in the neighborhood, some door hangers for Ram Amadov, but I understand you left the state.
It's good to have you, Larry. I'm also from Charlotte. And we all know Ram from his 2020 campaign. He's not far away now. He's just across the line in Union County.
Right.
Well, we're glad to have you, Larry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would anyone else like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm State Representative Jerry Govan, lifelong Democrat. I'm from Orangeburg, South Carolina. I'm a senior ranking member of the House of Representatives and running for State Superintendent of Education.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. All right. Would anyone else like to unmute and say hello?
My name is Rita Mitchell, and I live in India Land.
Hi, Rita. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
A lot of us also live in Indian Land. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm going to put a little link in the chat. And if you don't mind, everybody, so that we have a record of who's joined our meeting tonight, click on this link. It's a short little sign-in sheet. And if you could take the time to fill that out, it would help us a lot. If there's a question on there you don't know, like your precinct, don't stress about it. We're just trying to get some information so that we can get ourselves out there a little bit better and organize and make sure that we elect representatives who really care about us. All right. We have, oh, he just popped on. Our guest speaker tonight is from Hope in Lancaster. Colleague Chapman, there he is. And colleague does a lot of work in our community, helping folks get the help that they need, not just to survive, but also to thrive. So we're really grateful for Hope. Verda Looper is also on their board. And we have a lot of connections to them from our county party. So colleague, thank you for joining us. And I'll let you take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. And hello again to certain people and everybody. I see a lot of new faces, but I'm excited to kind of join with you guys tonight and to share about some of the great things that Hope is doing and some of the new things that Hope is going to do here in the future. I do want to, before I start, to give luck to all of the representatives that are going to be running for office. Definitely have all of my support as a Democrat myself. So I want to go ahead and say that outside of me representing Hope, let me say that. Okay. All right. So back to things. I'm not sure how many of you guys know exactly what Hope does. We are a faith-based nonprofit organization that was founded in 1982. Well, started in 1982, became incorporated in 1983. So we've been around for a pretty good while. We started off with just a few volunteers and representatives from county governments and churches and other organizations based around Lancaster County. And so we've grown from that into a just over $1 million agency today. So what our main focus is to help people overcome short-term emergencies by providing assistance, resources, and referrals. We are not a Band-Aid agency. I want to iterate that very, very clearly. We're not a Band-Aid agency. We are not the type of agency that just throws money at a dying situation. We have certain stipulations. We have certain criteria that you have to meet. And just to say this, we are not financially biased. You can be a multimillionaire and work as a CEO at a Fortune 500 company, and you come to Hope and you need assistance, and show that you need assistance. We can help you. Even though our money may not be able to throw a bucket into what you may have had before, we can definitely still assist. So our main focus, everybody thinks our main focus is food. However, food is on our back end. Even though food is the most prevalent and the most visible thing that we do, our main focus is to provide financial assistance in the form of utility assistance, rental assistance, and things of that nature. We do have actually we have 14 different programs that operate at Hope. Our short-term program is called Jumpstart. Those are really catered to the individuals that need assistance within a 90-day frame. For instance, if your car breaks down and you can't get to work and you miss work for a few days and now you find yourself short in your light bill, you can then bring that receipt of where you purchased parts or got your car fixed to Hope, and we can definitely help you pay your utility bills. A lot of people are saying that in the community say, well, they only help with light bills, they only help with rent, but we can definitely find a way through our partnerships with other organizations to get you assistance. 90% of what we do is partner with other organizations who do similar things to what we do as well. We don't have a huge budget. We don't have a $17 million budget. We don't receive all of the $1 million federal grants. We don't receive any of that. Most of our funding comes from individuals like yourselves. We have over 1,200 individual donors, over 72 churches and faith-based institutions, numerous organizations and businesses in the area that give to Hope because of the reputation we have of helping people in need. During COVID, when I was hired, let me just tell you, I had to hit the ground running. COVID was unprecedented. As most of you know, there was no game plan of how to respond or how to take in how COVID affected people. We gave away more food and more money than we have ever in our existence. Let me just say this. We have the largest volunteer base in Lancaster County. We have over 277 active volunteers, all giving in the year of 2021, over 11,000 volunteer hours, worth to the agency over $350,000. We were able to take that money and save labor costs and put it right back into our communities. We started 7 programs within Hope during the COVID period in 2020 to 2021. My job changed. I was hired as a volunteer coordinator, and now my title is the volunteer coordinator and community outreach coordinator. So we are actively, constantly have our ear to the pavement to see exactly what our community needs. And we just don't serve Lancaster City. We serve Lancaster County and Fort Lawn. So we make sure that we, even from people from the Panhandle on down to Kershaw, we make sure that we are reaching everyone. We have a senior pantry, which is the only program that we have that you have to qualify for. Hear me well. The senior pantry is the only program that we have that you have to qualify for, meaning you have to meet a certain financial goal. There's a financial limitation. You have to be underneath, I think the number is around $1,200 a month or less, which is, a lot of our senior citizens are living on $600 to $800 a month. And catch this, $15 to $20 a month in food stamps. I'm going to pause right there for you guys to take that in. $15 to $20 a month in food stamps. Just ask yourself a question. With the cost of produce and meat and the cost of food rising rapidly, how much can you really afford with $15 to $20 in food stamps? You got to let that rack up for a little bit before you can even get a whole grocery cart full of stuff, and maybe not even getting that within a whole year. So we're able to provide those seniors with up to 150, sometimes more of poundage of food every month. We're able to get them fresh produce, breads, meat, dairy products. We're also able to give them cheese and eggs. And we do this all with the monies that we receive from donations like from you guys. And so we're very excited to be able to offer these programs. And we definitely could not do what we are doing without volunteers and donors. We are volunteer driven. We have 8 staff and 14 programs. You can do the math. There is no way possible we can do it without the help of our community. So we are always engaged in opportunities to come out and speak with organizations like this to kind of get the word out about what we do. In 2020, we addressed food insecurity. One of the things that we noticed about our county is that we have one farmers market. One. As big as our county is, we have one farmers market that is open 3 days a week from 8 to 1. And check this out. There's only 2 farmers that go there. 2 farmers out of the whole county. 2 farmers actually take in the responsibility of coming down to the farmers market and setting up. 9 times out of 10, what you can realize that if you come down to the farmers market is that you will see hope out there more than any other person. And the reason for that is in 2020, we started a program called Food Share. The food insecurity problem that's in the county, we have different areas. We have food deserts. Food deserts are places in the county where you can't have access to fresh and healthy food. We have food swamps where there is sporadic spots in the county where you can get fresh and healthy produce. But what we wanted to address was the ability for our clients and our donors to receive fresh produce, first-rate produce at a reasonable cost. So we purchase produce, guys, hear this. We purchase produce from Sims Brothers Produce in Columbia at what would be retail cost at $24 to $26 a box. We then resell it at absolutely no profit for Hope now. This is a self-sustaining program. The idea of this program was for that when we provide this box to our clients and our partners, that this will be a program that Hope doesn't have to fund, that it will fund itself. And so we sell this box at a discounted rate for $15. But check this out. If you have food stamps, you're able to swipe your food stamps card and get it for $5. And DSS reimburses us the other $10 through the Healthy Bucks program, of which more than likely we'll run out of money. I know I'm getting on a platform here. We'll more than likely run out of money in the next 5 years. Just throw that out there to you guys. You can take the information with how you like it. And so we're able to do that and able to provide this to the community. And it is just an awesome opportunity for even anybody to get involved. This is open to the public. You can purchase it through our website at hopeinlancaster.org. There's a link for you to purchase it right online from the comfort of your home. You can buy a box for yourself. You can buy a box for somebody else. You can even buy a box as an angel box and give us the ability to choose who needs it the most on behalf of our agency. And I know that I'm speaking a lot, and I know that I'm throwing a lot of information out there to you guys, but the amount of money, the amount of bills that we receive for people to be able for us to pay for them has almost quadrupled between 2020 and 2022. Imagine, and I'm just going to preface it like this, before 2020, the typical bill for a utility bill was anywhere from $150 maybe to like $225 on a high bill, right? Now, I'm going to give you guys time to take a deep breath. The highest bill that we have seen thus far from Duke Energy is $3,500. Listen, $3,500. And the reason is we had the moratorium for so long, right? And people got on payment plans. You couldn't cut off their power. But now that the moratorium is lifted, they're hitting these people who can't afford to pay a monthly bill up to $3,000 at one time. And the problem that we are seeing is that if you miss one payment on a payment plan, they want the whole thing at once. The whole thing. Just imagine you have 3 or 4 kids at home. You're living on a fixed income. Because think about this, a lot of times what is happening is the parents could not afford housing and now is moving back in with their grandparents. And so now you have that responsibility left on the grandparents to provide for generations underneath them, where it should be the other way around. Not to mention rent. The rent problem that has been created here in Lancaster County is becoming to where gentrification is going to Midway and South Side, where these companies are coming in and buying these houses, and the rent has become astronomical. It has become too much for our clients to afford. We have people that have on a fixed income of $800 a month having a rent payment of $1,200 a month. There's no way ever that you're going to be in the green. There's no way ever that you're going to be able to afford that, but they have to try to do what they have to do because they have nowhere else to go. When the Carriage Inn closed maybe a few months ago, and all of those families were put out. Now in our policies, we've never in the past really had the ability or the responsibility to take on homelessness, but we had to make sure that we addressed the issue that was presented in our county. So we took on the responsibility of working with United Way and CARE, and all of our agencies got together and came up with plans on the fly. People were put out that day. They had to be out that same day at 5 p.m. So we had 17 families that were put out that had either go to pay for hotels or other hotels or go stay with family members. And so we sprung into action. We have 2 licensed master social workers on our staff that spent countless hours deciphering what the needs were from those families and individuals, and trying to address the needs of not just those individuals that came forward, but for the statistics speak that if there's one homeless person that comes forward, there's 5 more that you don't see. And so it's very, very important that you guys will help us to identify things that we can't see. We're only just a staff of 8, but we need people like you guys that will say, hey, maybe you guys need to talk about this. Maybe you guys can come around and we have discussions that we can understand what our community needs better. Our clients are our most important asset because we want them to know that we're casting no judgment at all. And I oftentimes say this, many of us that have worked all of our life, if at any point in time before we reach retirement age, lost a check or was unable to be paid for a 2-week or a pay period, we could be in that same situation. A lot of us, and I'm speaking for myself as well, is 1 paycheck away from catastrophe. Think about this. We have clients that come in that don't know anything about making a bank account. They're using Cash App cards and Venmo as their primary banking. And so we've tried to address the long-term issues that associated with that. So we've created the Bounce Back program and financial literacy courses that help people to come up with goals to kind of alleviate some of the stresses. Yes, there's a financial backing from us in a certain extent, but the main part and the main priority is to help people reach not just short-term goals, but long-term goals. We've had people raise their credit score over 200 points. We have people that have qualified for houses. We've had people that have started their own businesses, that went to the lot and purchased their own car. The great success stories. We've had a family that have come from homelessness to, in a few weeks, going to be able to purchase their first home. Think about that. Think about the impact of that, of lasting relationships that we establish here at Hope. And I know I've talked for so long, so I want to end it by saying this, and I'm going to leave a window, if that's okay, Katie, to entertain questions that you guys may have. What we do at Hope, and I love the agency so much, you can ask my wife and anybody else. Hope is something that's really dear to my heart. Hope is something that we want to provide for those individuals in crisis. So we're not just the agency Hope, but we provide hope as well. And so at this time, if you guys have any questions, and I see some in the chat, let's see here. Representative Govan, I will definitely get you some information. Definitely get you some information on that. Any questions that anybody may have?
I just got a brief comment. I just want to thank you for your commitment and what you're doing out there in the field. We have pockets of food deserts around the state. A lot of times these food deserts or these pockets go unnoticed because everyone is thinking about the metropolitan areas. No one thinks about rural South Carolina. And I'm
Yes.
very sensitive to that because Orangeburg County is one of the largest rural counties in the state. And so we're dealing with some of the same issues that you have, and particularly with inflation and the fact that everything that's going on with the economy in terms of interest rates and whatnot, the problem is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And I just want to thank you for your commitment and what you're doing, because it's organizations like yours that truly are making a difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do want to also throw out just one more statistic for you guys. Clinton attendance zone in our community, Clinton attendance zone. Let me just throw out this statistic. 92% of the kids that are in Clinton in that attendance zone are on free and reduced lunch. 92%. Just think about that. 92%. A.R. Rucker, which is another in the Clinton attendance zone, is at 94% for free and reduced lunch. And so what we have done, and we started this in the past in 2020 when I first was hired. We partnered up with Transformation Church in Indian Land, and we were giving out baskets of food to the kids who were less fortunate, who were receiving free and reduced lunch. During COVID, all of that funding stopped from the USDA. So they did not receive those backpacks full of food. And sometimes the school would try to supplement, but as you guys, and we're not going to get on that. Let me not go there. Sorry. I almost got on the political standpoint. Let me not do that. So, what we tried to do is try to address those issues. And so now we're revisiting some of the programs that we've done in the past, some of the issues that has represented itself. And we're trying to implement new programs. But trying to implement new programs, we need new funding. And so that has presented an issue for in itself. There's over 60 nonprofit organizations here in Lancaster County that is all fighting for the same donor base, fighting for the same foundational grants and stuff of that nature. So we got to keep that in mind. Make sure that you are noticing where your money goes. If you can't ask an organization what you're doing with your money, and they can't answer it, something is wrong. We're an open book. You can come to Hope at any point in time, ask any question you want to ask, and we can definitely assist you in any way. Are there any more questions?
Yeah, Khalik.
Yeah.
Is all of your funding local, or does any of it come from the state or federal programs?
Let's see. We'd receive very little state and federal funding. Like I said, and Verda Looper, who is on here as well, who is our board chair, can maybe answer this question a little bit more. But I can't honestly answer that, but I know that for a good portion of what we receive is local funding. Yes, sir. Verda, could you answer that question if you're privileged to?
We receive from some different foundations throughout the state, but that's basically it, our businesses.
Okay, thank you.
And
Kelly,
just, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say this, and we spend very little on I don't want to say that let me not say that. So we spend very little on operational costs. Let me say that. So the majority of the money that we receive goes right back into our community. We have very low operational costs. Yes, Kate, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Katie, with your question.
Oh, that's okay. This question's a little specific, but the farmers market you mentioned, I know one way we can get more of that is to increase the demand. So then they'll bring in more supply, right? So when and where is that farmers market?
It is 1926 Pageland Highway. 1926 Pageland Highway, Lancaster, South Carolina, 29720. It is ran and operated by the Lancaster County Parks and Rec. Just throwing that out there.
All
Thank
right.
you. Look at, I mean, thank you, Katie. You put the address and stuff in there. So
Oh, and what days? You said it was from 8 to 1, but what days of the
8
week?
to 1 on, I'm closing my eyes. I'm trying to visualize the sign as I'm driving by. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But I have to double check. Don't hold that to me. But it's only open a limited time. And just to be honest, food chair is out there twice a month. Food chair is out there twice a month. We're doing food chair out there twice a month. Well, I don't know if it's on Tuesdays. It might not be on Tuesdays anymore. But we're doing the first and third Tuesdays for Hope and Lancaster at the farmers market. And I think, let me get you that information back. Let me not answer that. I apologize. Let me get
That's
that
okay.
information back to you, Katie, if you don't mind.
Sure, and I can share that out.
Absolutely.
Follow-up question. Where are our biggest food deserts in the county?
Definitely the lower part of our county in Heath Springs, Kershaw area. There is the only store that's really in the Heath Springs area is Smalls, which has limited. I'm going to preface that very well. Limited produce and fresh and healthy stuff. In Kershaw, there are some other stores that are available, but we only do portions of Kershaw. And so the other part of Kershaw is in Kershaw County, obviously. But that's the biggest food desert we have. And that is also the most impoverished part of the county as well, is the lower part of the county.
Thank you.
No problem. Any more questions before I wrap it up?
Besides cash donations, do you take any kind of object donations for resale or for passing on to people for households?
Unfortunately, no, we do not. We're not equipped to kind of take on like household items and stuff of that nature. Every so often, we'll have a family that is in need of particular items that we may put a need for on our Facebook or social media pages.
Okay.
But for the most part, we accept food. Let me preface that: unexpired food. Would not believe the amount of food that we give that we have to get that's in date from 1997 or something like that. But in date, unexpired food and cash, check, PayPal, or all that good stuff. And you can go on our website for those links. All of it is a tax write-off. You'll get a letter in the mail from us that expresses what you have given and a thanks as well.
One more question, colleague.
Yes,
So we know where to donate, and I just put that link in the chat again.
absolutely.
How do we sign up to volunteer if we'd rather do that?
Oh, glad you asked. Let me ask the guy who's in charge of that. Let me grab him. I'm back. Okay, so to volunteer, you have to reach out to me. And so let me put my information in the chat so everyone can see this. You can email me, shoot up a smoke signal, call me, text me, all that good stuff. And I will get back to you. Every volunteer has to be background checked, and that is no cost to you. We have to be background checked. It has to go through an interview with me. We want to make sure that the information that we have and the financial responsibility that we have is well taken care of. We want to 7684, that's my number. To maintain that great reputation we have with our donor base all throughout the county. So everybody, no matter what position you're in, no matter what position you're going to volunteer in, has to come through for a background check. Any more questions?
I don't have a question, but as somebody who spent a reasonable amount of time packing food share boxes, I just want to let everybody at the meeting know that it's good work, and you occasionally get to take home some extra bananas and onions and whatnot. And I put the link where you can sign up specifically to pack food share boxes in the chat just a minute ago as well. So anybody who's interested in that, unfortunately, we're entering the hot part of the year, and it is outside. But you know, if that's an issue, I bet they'll still be packing boxes in October.
It is shaded. Go ahead and preface that. It is underneath the arbor at the farmer's market. So it's hot, but it ain't too hot, you know? And it's really just like an hour, hour and a half max of work, honestly.
At the most. And it's not hard work.
Right. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to share what Hope is doing. Continue to keep us all in your prayers. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Katie.
And I'd like to say, Kalik, you're doing a terrific job.
Thank you so much, as are you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kalik, and for giving us all of this information. That was a lot, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you advocating for folks in our community who may not be able to advocate for themselves. And I'm going to say something that I don't think Kalik is allowed to say. There's another way that we can advocate for these folks, and that is with our vote. So please make sure that you check your registration and that you vote in our primary on June 14th. You have to be registered 30 days before the election, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But make sure that you check your registration because things can happen. So even if you've been registered to vote, go ahead and check it. And then make sure that you vote in the primary. Make sure you vote in every November election because our representatives have a lot of impact on the economy and how people in our community are doing financially.
Katie, could I say something?
Of course, Sheila.
I just wanted to remind everybody on May 16th, they can go down personally, down to the registration office and vote. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Early voting starts on May 16th. And it's a good idea to go down if you can get down there that week when they're not busy and just go in, and vote. Because I'll be out of town, so I want to make sure I get there to vote. But if anybody needs a ride, you can tell them to call me. I'll take them.
You said May 16th?
Yes, May 16th is the first primary where you can start to vote early. If you go in and look, I found it online. And I believe Mary Ann Hudson said that as well. So I'm going to go when they open.
Thank you,
All right.
Sheila.
I'll go back. I'm going to go off so I don't.
Bonnie?
So I think the one thing to be careful about there is I believe that you do have to be eligible for one of the excuses because that is in-person absentee voting. And so not everyone is eligible to do that. But if you are 65 or older, you're eligible. And then there are some other excuses out there. So, and thank you for posting that. But yeah, go to scvotes.gov. That's the best place to go for all that good information. But you do have to be eligible for those excuses because they do put restrictions on you.
Oh, did they change it? Because as long as, like, if you were going to be out of town, if you were going to be, you could always vote as long as you gave them a reason why you wouldn't physically be in town.
Right. Yeah, there are those excuses, but they do have to be valid excuses.
Right.
And obviously it's difficult for anybody who works a corporate job in 8 to 5. You can't get there. So, yeah. So it is difficult and it is far for a lot of us who live in the northern part of the county. It's a 40-minute drive to get there, but it's still important. I just want to make sure that people are aware of that. It's not early voting like it is in other states.
The only excuse that we don't have this election cycle is the one about COVID. So all the others, if you're just gonna be unavailable due to a work schedule, because you have scheduled a vacation, and it's a fair list of just about anything. You just need to know what the list is and know what to check off when you show up.
And all of that is at scvotes.gov. And I put that in the chat. So thanks, everyone. And if you have any questions, please reach out. We'd be happy to help you. All right, we're going to try and keep most of our business to our executive committee meetings, and everyone is welcome at those meetings, even if you're not on the executive committee, so you can keep up with what's going on. So just a little bit of business tonight. I'm going to put the link to the minutes from the last meeting in the chat. And then if I can get any corrections that we need to that. And then we will approve the minutes. So. All right, there's the link to the minutes in the chat. Karen, thank you so much for taking minutes for us at our meetings. You do a great job. Does anyone have any corrections to the minutes? I'll give you a minute to look through them. All right, whenever you're ready, I'll take a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented, subject to any corrections anyone sees.
Yeah, if somebody finds a correction later, you can still submit that. Don't worry. Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Keith and Alan. All those in favor? All right, that passes. Thanks, everyone. Okay, next is our 5-minute action, which Suzanne is not here tonight. Wrong button. There we go. Sorry about that. The next thing we're going to do is our 5-minute action, which Suzanne set up for us. I just have to find the right tab on my computer. Here we go. Okay, so we need volunteers for the Red Rose Festival, which is May 20th, Friday evening, and May 21st, Saturday during the day. And I'm going to put a sign up in the chat. We need volunteers to sit at our tables and talk to community members, talk to voters, and get the word out about our party. And it's a lot of fun getting to meet people. Last time, I've got his business card right here. I met someone who was walking by at the Indian Land Fall Festival, and his name is Mike. And he was just kind of joking around with us, good-natured joking about, oh, I could never vote for a Democrat. But he stopped to talk. And by the end of that conversation, he told me that he will vote for me and that he will spread the word in his community about my campaign. And we are good friends now. And actually, Bonnie told me that she ran into him this weekend and he remembered me and he still said he's going to vote for me. And the man is a diehard Republican. So getting out at events like this, that's not really a credit to me. That's a credit to just showing up and being friendly and talking to people. So I'm going to put this sign up in the chat. If you would be willing to help us out, please click on that link and sign up to help us. And I'm going to give you a minute to do that as well. And I'll answer any questions that you have.
Why didn't we tell them the hours?
Are the hours on there? Oh yeah, if you click on the link, the hours are on there.
Okay.
Yep, they're 2-hour slots, but it will show you what time. I know I will be there the whole time at the candidate booth because I'm running for South Carolina House District 44. And Keith, will you be there? Are you planning to be there the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
And I heard that Kevin, who is running for Congress, will be there. I don't know if he'll be there the whole time. But we've got one booth for the party where we're going to be advertising our county party and the Women's Council and all of our organization. And then the other booth will be a lot of information for the candidates. And that's where Keith and I will be.
And we'll be doing voter registration as usual.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I will probably be there with the candidates because you sometimes need relief
Mhm. And we
Literally
appreciate
and
it.
figuratively.
Katie, I'm only
Yes,
seeing
ma'am.
for Saturday. Am I just in the wrong place?
Oh, you know what? I do only see for Saturday.
I think we were planning on only doing Saturday. So
Oh,
Keith, do you have any advice on that?
It seems from my past experience, it's really a lot easier to get set up Friday. And then we roll right in Saturday morning.
Mhm.
I mean, because we're setting up right in front of our office. I've already
So-
talked to them about that.
Let me ask you this, Keith. Do we need folks for that 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. slot?
Probably not.
Well, then I'm going to let Kalik say something about Hope's event that morning. You have an event that morning, right? Is that what I've seen on Facebook?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you. Forgot about that. All right. So we are doing a walk to raise money. So every step you take, you put $1 in the pot. No, but honestly though, it's called the Red Rose Romp. It'll be targeted to do before you congregate to the Red Rose Festival. I'm sorry, Red Rose is kind of indoctrinated in my mind right now. So the Red Rose Romp will be held at the Bar Street entrance to the Lindsay Pettis Greenway. So if you know anything about what the adult education building is, that is the Bar Street School. So if you take that roadway all the way to the back, you'll see all the tents and everything set up. Sponsorships are still being accepted. If you guys want to help us by as a party to become a sponsor, you can. If you guys want to come individually and do that as well, let me see if I can find the link, and I'll stop talking, but I'm going to put the link in the chat to where you guys can prospectively sign up.
Thank you. And we are putting a lot of things in the chat. So don't worry if you're not getting it all right now. If you go to the chat, so go to the bottom of your screen where you see all the buttons. I know I have to click on the 3 dots, and then click on chat, but you may be able to just click on the chat. So go to the bottom of the screen and click on chat. And then in the chat, there's another 3 buttons. If you click on the 3 buttons, click on the chat, and then click on the 3 buttons again, you can save the chat. So for anybody who didn't know that, and I know we're putting so much information in here, you can go in, click on the 3 buttons, and click save the chat. And then you can save all of those links and that good information that we're putting in there. All right. I'm going to make some announcements, and then I'm going to open it up for everybody else to make announcements if you have any. And after that, if you need to scoot on out of here and get on to whatever else you need to do, you can. But I would like to save us some time for just a discussion about the Supreme Court leak that happened this week. If you're like me and you're all pent up and you need to talk about it. So we're gonna do announcements, and then if you need to go, we'll officially end the meeting and let you go on, but I'll stick around if anybody wants to talk about those things. So next week, we've got a lot happening. On Wednesday, Evangeline Hunley is going to visit us, and she is a candidate for U.S. Congress for Congressional District 5. She will be at Ribs, Wings, and More on Elm Street in Lancaster at 4 o'clock. And then she'll be at Sun City at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, right? My Sun City folks? All right, I'm pretty sure it's 7 o'clock. So if you would like to meet Evangeline Hunley, meet a candidate for Congress, hear from her why she's running, what's her platform, ask her your questions, then meet us down in Lancaster at Ribs, Wings, and More at 4. So Ribs, Wings, and More at 4. So you can remember that. Or meet us at Sun City at 7. And then that same day, Kevin Eckert, also candidate for Congress, is having a meet and greet up in Indian Land at Farmhouse. I don't remember if it's got a longer name than that. It's the Farmhouse Sausage Restaurant up by Redstone. his is from 6 to 8 p.m. So theoretically, you could see both of our candidates for Congress in one day, 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And then Friday, we really need all you golfers to come out and join us for our Red Rose Golf Challenge. And that's going to be a really good time. Get out, get some sunshine. If you don't golf, you could also sponsor a hole or just make a donation. Our executive committee meeting is Tuesday, May 17th. Our Young Democrats meeting, which I need you to send me all the Young Democrats 14 to 40 years old. Send them my way. That's going to be Wednesday, May 18th. And then we've got our Women's Council meeting coming up Thursday, May 19th. The Red Rose Festival, which we talked about, Friday and Saturday, May 20th and 21st. And then our Dim Good Time will be Wednesday, May 25th. I just rattled all that off. Don't worry, I'm about to put a link in the chat that has all of those dates and times. Here we go. Okay, hold on. I hope this is the right link. Y'all try that link and let me know if it works. Khalik, absolutely. Tell us something.
So I got a question, and hopefully I'm relieved of my representing hope at this moment. Can I be relieved from that position? Because I can't talk about anything political.
You gotta do your come off the screen and come back again.
Let me just do this.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Hey, Khalik, how you doing?
Oh, so good. I didn't know you guys were having a meeting. Just decided to join. So question for you guys. There is a little thing that is coming back up through the General Assembly on May 12th called preemption. Does anybody know anything about what that is and how it affects local government or anything like? I'm trying to get more information. If you guys don't know, I'm also the chair of the Health and Wellness Commission here in the county. And so for little things like ordinance and stuff that we want to kind of implement is going to be affected if they pass preemption laws back again here in South Carolina. Are you familiar with it? Does anybody have any information?
Let me guess. It has to do with Columbia controlling everything happening on a local level.
110,000,000%.
Because they sure talk a lot about home rule when it's the feds. And then they do a 180 when it's us trying to do what we want, feel is best for our communities.
Right. So
Believe-
one of the things that will be up for discussion will be all of the ordinance that were passed for vaping and public smoking, any new ordinance that you would try to see implemented on both city council and county council have to now be voted upon in the state level, if I'm not mistaken. Please forgive me if I have the wrong information, but I want to receive some more information about that. So if you guys know anything about it, please let me know.
I had a robocall, not a robocall, excuse me. It was a real person asking me to call South Carolina and our state senator on HB 3681. And I believe that is, I'm going to put that in the chat. I believe that is what that there has implications way beyond just the smoking and vaping legislation. It all fits in, like I said, with Columbia doesn't think we're adult enough to run our own counties.
So I'm looking that up.
What was that bill number? 3681?
I just put it in chat.
Oh, I just saw it.
If I can jump in there for a second, when Irene and I were co-chairs of Health and Wellness Clique, we started doing some work on this. This is, I think, the third year that this has come up. For a little bit of background, the first really successful version of this was the preemption law that kept some of the towns on the coast from banning plastic bags in grocery stores.
Yep.
And a couple versions, dealing with different issues have cropped up in the meantime. the bill that you're talking about is a bit of boilerplate coming from RJ Reynolds and their lobbyists. The two co-sponsors in the House were just pretty transparent about that. So when Irene and I were doing work on this, we talked some to local representatives. I think Brandon Newton could talk to you about it in some detail, although I wouldn't expect a lot of support from him on that front. But the argument is that the letting individual cities or counties regulate the sale of vape products right next to elementary schools would somehow make it too difficult for businesses to function. But so I would start there, but I think there's maybe some opportunity to, I mean, since Health and Wellness is an advisory commission to the county council, there's some opportunity to recruit some energy from there. If the county council, would bark about it a little bit, up to the state, that might actually mean a little something on that front. And the chairship and the city, the county manager and the legal reps have all changed since I was in Health and Wellness. So that might be worth a shot as well. Typically, it's not that hard to get a meeting with the chair and maybe one other person, and that might be worth a conversation.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I was looking at some of the documentation for not just that bill, but there's other preemption stuff that's trying to go in effect as well, which talk about TRL or tobacco relicensing and all of that. It talks about firearm regulations and minimum wage and paid leave laws, anti-discrimination laws. All of that is tied to this one bill. So it's very important that we're making sure that we hold our voting for the right people and hold those other people in response to this, to know what's going on, and especially in our community. Just want to throw that.
Yeah, if I might, since we're talking about the General Assembly, and I happen to have my calendar here with me. I was flipping through because I just didn't happen to see that bill on our calendar. That's not to say, we have probably about 40, 50 bills that we're going to try to work through in a 3-day period. We adjourn sine die on next Thursday at 5 o'clock. And so I'm not saying the bill isn't there, but it's not on the putting it on the calendar as yet. That as far as I can see, I can assure you that the Democratic caucus would be very much concerned about any of those pieces of legislation. That does not say that the bill is not in committee or is not on either the Senate calendar, because it very well could be. But you have a deadline in which these bills have to cross over. What could happen is that they could tag a bill onto a piece of legislation just to get it across the hall, but it has to meet a test of unanimous. So it's not impossible. I'll be happy to have staff look into it tomorrow. They check on the Senate side. I'm on the House side, but to see if that bill is some kind of way made it across. But let me also just say this. What he's saying about in terms of the people that are running for office, I think is real important. Katie, we're glad to see you running for office in terms of District 44. I'm going to be leaving the General Assembly as of next week, but I think it's important that we start growing the next generation of Democrats, because the crop that you're going to get in the House, we have 11 individuals who are either retiring or getting out for whatever reason. I happen to have been drawn out by the Republicans, but what you're going to get in the place of them, because the way those lines were drawn, is you're going to probably get an increased Republican margin in terms of the House. The Senate doesn't come up for 2 years from now. And so I think it's very critical that we not lose any ground and we try to pick up as much as we can during this election cycle. So I'm really excited about what y'all are doing in Lancaster County. Traditionally, that's been a very strong Democratic county in past years, and whatever I could do to assist you, please, we'll be happy to work with you in terms of that regard.
Well, for another blatant plug for my own campaign is I'm running against Brandon Newton, and I am definitely very much opposed to this style of stuff that the Republicans are trying to do in Columbia. So hopefully, I'm sorry to hear that they've drawn you out of your district. Are you going to be running for, well, you are running, I'm sorry, you are running.
I'm running for state superintendent of education. Actually, they drew 3 Democrats out. They pitted Democrats against Democrats. And that's why I think it's real important that we pay attention not only to the census, but we got to start holding people accountable, because I think that if you see some of the, for example, just today, some of the bills that we had to deal with, including vouchers that they ended up having to pull down, we dealt with CRT over the last couple of days. It's just been ridiculous, one thing after another. And all these bills and things that we could have done to help individuals like Tariq, and in terms of some of the things we could have done, a lot of positive things that Democrats have introduced are still sitting in committee, but they've rushed through at the last minute ridiculous pieces of legislation that have nothing more intention but to divide and conquer the people of South Carolina. So we have to take a stand. It's simple as that. And so we hopefully we can get you down there, and we can get Katie down there. I can remember at one time the entire House delegation from Lancaster. When I got there, it was Democrats. It was Jim Hodges and Billy Bone.
Well, we're going to do what we can. We're going to do what we can.
Let me know what we can help. Let me know whatever we can do to help. But we gotta, it's gonna take teamwork. We're gonna have to work hard. I've been in the party for over 40 years, lifelong Democrat. And as that saying goes, if we want to resume or recapture power, it's going to take work. Nothing's not going to come to you easily. It's going to come by work and effort. No such thing as a free lunch.
Wise words. Thank you for that. Wow, we've had a great meeting tonight, y'all. So here's what I'm going to do, because I want us to be able to have a free discussion, if we like, on this week's recent events with the Supreme Court. I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting, and then when we do that, I'll turn off the recording, and so we can speak freely and just have a good discussion on this. Verda?
Yes, I'm sorry, Katie. I do have not an announcement, but comments.
Sure.
I just would like to thank those who were able to join the June 14th Victories and Vote Forum, where we talked about redistricting. The county administrator reviewed the new redistricting map, and Marianne Hudson from the elections office gave the most current voting information. And she did leave us some packets with information. I think Keith picked up the extras that we had left. So if anyone, it's some good information in the packet. So if anyone would like that, contact Keith if he have extras. But thank the party for joining the Women's Council and sponsoring that. Thank Alan and Keith for taking care of the technical part to make it a hybrid meeting in the library. So thank you for your support, and we look forward to continuing to educate the community. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Verda, for sharing that. I appreciate it. I'm glad everything went well.
And
Thank
Katie,
you,
I
Bert.
know I wasn't a speaker for tonight, but I enjoyed the meeting. And for anyone who would like to help us in this effort for the state superintendent of education, I left my contact information there. We need your help. We need your support. And I'm the only real Democrat in this race. So I would respectfully ask for your support. My experience and my background, I think, speak for itself. And of course, everyone knows where my heart is. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you. Chris?
Yes, sorry, I know you're trying to wrap things up. I'll be
No,
very
go ahead.
quick. The Environmental Caucus has organized 2 Zoom meetings, one with Joe Cunningham and one with Mia McLeod, coming up relatively soon, where they're going to ask some sort of prearranged questions about their positions on things connected to the Environmental Caucus. I'm going to put the information for that in the chat in case anyone's interested. I just wanted to scoop that in before we stop recording.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other announcements? Comments for the good of the group? I have to say, I am just so proud of everything that everyone is doing, and I don't even know all of the good work that y'all are doing, but I'm always impressed and encouraged every time I see y'all. All right, and there's information from Chris in the chat. One more time, there's a lot of good information in the chat tonight. So if you open up the chat, click on the 3 dots and then click Save Chat. You can hold on to all of that good information and those links and contact information. All right, anything else?
Good job, Katie.
Thank you. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn, but if you'd like to talk, stick around. Sound good?
Yes.
All right.
Madam Chair, I move that the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Verda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I think Keith beat Bonnie by like this much. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. And that passes. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording. Thank you, everyone, for such a great meeting.